Welcome to News Center. I'm Archana Solanki. The top story we're tracking this evening. It was a stellar the last week debut for LG Electronics India. This came days after its IPO garnered bids worth over 4 lakh crore, the most for any Indian IPO. The stock listed at a 50% premium, eclipsing its South Korean parent's $10 billion market capitalization on day one itself. The management said that going forward, premiumization and better margins would be their focus areas. But guess who stole the show and won hearts at the listing ceremony? The South Korean-born LG India MD who delivered the entire speech in Hindi.
यह आईपीओ एलजी के लिए सिर्फ एक वित्तीय उपलब्धि नहीं है, बल्कि यह एक नए भविष्य की शुरुआत है जिसे हम भारत के लोगों के साथ मिलकर बनाएंगे। भविष्य में लाइवलीहुड की भावनाओं को अधिक से अधिक भारतीय पर्यटन के साथ साझा करेंगे।
And we are joined by Atul Mehra, Managing Director and CEO at Axis Capital, which was one of the bankers to this IPO. And my colleague Nimesha is also here with us. Nimesh, over to you.
Thanks, Archana. So, Atul, thank you very much for joining us and talking to CNBC-TV18. Atul, you are one of the bankers to this IPO. Hats off to you, to your team as well. And congratulations on the bumper listing. Where's the party today? In India or in Korea?
The party is in India, but before we move ahead, a little bit of correction. We were one of the 5 bankers to the transaction, and we were the only domestic bank, and we were the left lead book running banker to the transaction.
Which is why we called you as well, right?
So that is very important for us to position ourselves correctly in front of everyone.
So, Atul, where's the party?
The party is in India.
Okay.
One party has already happened in the morning when the list happened at 50%. A similar debut, probably the best for this current fiscal year. And it's a great thing. If you reflect back on it, what was the reason for it? I would attribute it to 2 things. The vision of the management and the strong fundamentals of the company. Both of them led to phenomenal response from all categories of investor, be it the FIIs, be it the local houses, be it the HNI, be it the retail. And this is probably, Nimesh, you would not be aware, this is the only IPO in the category of 10,000 crore plus, which has got oversubscribed fully on day one. And that is a record of its kind. And we have massive participation, as I said earlier, from all categories of investor, which speaks volume.
Atul, I wanted to also discuss about you spoke about what went right, but I guess even the pricing was right? The kind of discount that it offered to the listed peers, and maybe that explains that almost a 50% premium on day one of listing. What worked? If you can just throw some light or insights on what went to the pricing, why you thought of leaving something on the table, and what else beyond pricing? Was it the brand? Was it the reach of this LG brand in India? What worked beyond pricing for LG to do so well on day one?
A couple of things did the magic. First and foremost, it was, I would say, the responsible and reasonable. I'm using these 2 words, responsible and reasonable pricing, which did the magic. The second, of course, is the great management team, a great product category in which they are leaders across the spectrum. And that had its impact, mesmerizing impact, I would say, on every investor. The response was good, not only from the domestic, but also from the global investors. And this is very important because the popular data that people react to is, oh, the FIIs are selling. But in capital markets, and we have seen this again and again, whenever there is a good company hitting the market with the reasonable pricing and responsible pricing, the response from both foreign as well as the domestic institutional investors is great. And this was a classical example of that.
Atul, I could also relate to in terms of pricing. The other case in point was NSGL. They came out with the right pricing, and after listing, the stock is up more than 50-60%. So I guess you're right. In IPO, the pricing is very important. But also, largely from an IPO perspective, Atul, India is now turning out to be an IPO factory. $14 billion already raised. A lot of large IPOs are lined up. What's the real mantra for this kind of an appetite? Is it only the domestic money, or you're seeing a lot of global appetite as well? X of secondary market, there is a lot of appetite from global investors as well in IPO market.
So again, we are all new, I would say, humble students of capital market, and we are learning every day. Nimesh, just to put things in context, there is no shortage of money. There is no shortage of money, trust me, and the pipeline is looking robust across the banks on the street. We will see at least $40 billion of fundraising very comfortably happening this fiscal year, and this will be a great year for the capital market, no doubts about it. And if you dissect it, all the IPOs which have happened in the current year or in the last 2 years, two attributes make it very different. Number one is the quality of the companies which are hitting the market generally is very, very good. Two, the size of the transactions which are now happening in Indian capital markets, the average size is much, much bigger. What does it reflect? It reflects that these are companies which are matured, which are very well arrived, and they have a business model which is capable of scaling up. So therefore, the response from the market is very, 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 very positive for these companies. What is again interesting that you have to keep in mind is that there is a whole host of companies which are planning to do the transaction. We have seen a rush of blood before Diwali break where companies got listed. Trust me, we have at least 10 good high quality companies which are planning to tap the market between, I would say, after Diwali and before Christmas. So that you will see a lot of high quality companies, and we are partners to quite a lot of them which will be going public. So the pipeline is very, very robust.
Yeah.
Be dependent on only domestic investors, not 100% true.
Sure.
There is a adequate response which is coming in even from the FIIs. That's what I was alluding to. If you look at the data for high quality companies which are large, which are reasonably well priced, even the foreign money is coming in, be it from the long only FIIs or the sovereign funds. They are adequately active and they're participating in all Indian deals.
Atul, just from a curiosity point of view, you spoke about 40 billion to be raised. Already we've raised $14 billion, big pipeline lined up. If you can just highlight 2 or 3 names to us, which are in the public domain, some large IPOs like LG, what would be those?
No, there are many of them. I cannot speak. It's a little unfair, but a whole host of them which are on the roadshow, right from, I would say, Physics Wala, Grow, I would say Pine Labs, Misho, then there is Lenskart, a series of companies which are planning to hit the market.
Atul, there is one big debate now in the market that maybe you're seeing some sort of a bubble in the IPO market as well. We saw some listings which were tepid, including the recent one, the big one which got listed the day before. In general, given your experience of 30 years in the market, are you sensing any sort of a bubble in the IPO market, the kind of companies which are coming in and the kind of valuation in which a lot of IPOs are coming in?
There is no bubble. There is no bubble. I'll tell you simply because if there is a bubble, these IPOs would have not got the response. These IPOs are happening on the back of genuine demand. And the genuine demand is on the back of the money which is flowing into the mutual fund. You look at only one simple statistics. What is the inflow which is coming into the SIPs? 27 to 28,000 crore per month. It is enough and more to absorb all these IPOs that we are speaking about. These will get happily absorbed.
Sure. Atul, one basic question from a viewer point of view and from an investor point of view, if you can tell us which is the best way to identify a winner in an IPO? Because not every IPO is done well. I was looking at the data. Almost 1/4 of the IPOs are now trading below the IPO price. So clearly, there are only few winners in that IPO basket as well. To you, what is the mantra, or what is the things to identify a winner in that IPO basket? Few things to look out for.
Again, Nimesh, I'm not trying to run a commercial on ourselves, but since you raised this point, I will take this opportunity. So we have so far done 11 transactions in this fiscal year, and out of the 11, 10 of them are trading above the IPO price. Okay, so we are an exception to the rule, to the data that you pointed out. Having said that, it is very important, and I will guide the investors to look at the sponsorship of the company. Who are the promoters behind the company? What is their track record? While we all don't like to do rear view driving, but past is a very good reflection of the future. What does the past look like? What is the future? Who are the management? What is the free float in the market? What is the likely free float that is going to hit the market in the next 2 to 3 years point? These are all very, very important data that we keep in mind. But most importantly, focus on the quality of the management. More often than not, it is the management which makes or breaks the company. So I would say 75% of my energy on the management. Is the management having what we say is the fire in the belly? If they have the fire in the belly, trust me, you should invest in those companies. It's my clear objective, and this is how we look at the IPOs when we sponsor them.
Sure. We spoke a lot about the IPOs, Atul, but since you're there, I want to ask a bit on the M&A side as well. The cross-border M&A, the outbound M&A picked up in India. I think you were part to one of the large recent M&A transaction where a small company went out and bought a $1.5 billion deal. What's the appetite there? What's the drive for Indian companies to go out and acquire assets globally?
So I think it's a cycle. Nimesh, we have to understand that Indian companies which are aggressive, which are fast growing, have looked at opportunities within India. And when they believe that the opportunities in India are almost exhausted or not available at the right price, then the option for them as company is to either grow organically, go in for an expansion within India, or look at for an acquisition as a route for growth. Today, there are a lot of good companies which are available in Europe and in US at multiples which are, I would say, a third or a fourth of what companies in India trade at. And if these companies are good and there is an integration model, there is a synergy, then these companies make great and immense sense. And which is why you see now Indian entrepreneurs are started looking once again as an outward approach to grow. And I think that there's nothing wrong in it. Time has come for India to go and capture the world. And some of the Indian entrepreneurs are taking this opportunity head on and in cashing it.
Right.
And the good news is, if you make a right acquisition, there is a very active capital market in India which is willing to bankroll you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Atul, before I let you go, we had 2 successful MNC listings this year, and both have given fabulous returns. Is that going to be a trademark that, look at an MNC IPO and you'll probably make money? Is that a right assessment to make?
You cannot generalize it. Yeah.
Sure, I understand.
You cannot generalize it, but we are looking at one more transaction, which is Tenneco, which should hit the market very soon.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you very much for joining us today, and congratulations on the bumper listing. Enjoy the party tonight as well.
Very much, and happy Diwali in advance to you.
Thank you, Atul, and to your team as well. Archana, I hope you also made money in the LG IPO.
No, Nimesh, breaking news, but I did not. I stay away from IPOs. But that was a fab conversation. Thank you for enlightening our viewers. Thank you, Nimesh. And with that, it's time for a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with a very important piece of news, which is Google plans to invest $15 billion over 5 years to set up an artificial intelligence data center in Andhra Pradesh's Vishakhapatnam. We bring you more on this on the other side.